Should you prepare your sets or just follow your intuition? It's a question that divides DJs, but which answer is right? Over the years, I've faced the consequences, good and bad, of both these approaches. And I'll be honest, the answer isn't quite so clear-cut. In this video, I'm going to share what I've learned and break down the risks and rewards of both methods. And where better to talk about this than the beautiful island of Rhodes for some reason. Intuition's often seen as the holy grail of DJing. Getting so good at your craft you can pull off the perfect set at any time with no planning. You can read the crowd like a book, make them cry, make them laugh, or make them feel sexy. The appeal is obvious. No planning time, complete creative freedom, and a Smugness Pro subscription in the comments section. I used to follow this philosophy to the T, but I soon learned it's not quite that simple. When I first started DJing nearly 25 years ago, I just had a massive crate of vinyl that I'd lug along to my student union like some kind of big shot. I didn't plan anything, but I had about 50 to 75 kilograms of wax. Essentially, it was a weight-based system of DJing. Every week, I'd leave thinking I'd done a great job. And to be fair, sometimes I had. But one time, I looked up from my decks during a transition. My mate was pulling a weird face. He has a weird face anyway, so naturally I assumed he'd just shit himself. I took my Sony MDR 1000 headphones off and asked him what was up, and then it struck me. The tracks I was mixing together sounded bloody awful. Is that what my DJing really sounded like? I left that gig wondering how often this had happened without me realizing. Was my gut leading me astray? And was my DJ intuition just something I'd made up to make myself sound cool? I wanted to solve this problem immediately, and it led me to completely rethink my approach. Back in 2020 when that germ thing happened, like many DJs, I took to Twitch. And in many ways I found this more nerve-wracking than playing in front of a live audience. Having a camera on you, fear of messing up in front of the entire internet, needing to chat on the mic at the same time, or dealing with my weak bladder during a long stream. This nervousness led me to become a set planning monster. At this point, I'd been digital DJing for a number of years, but my library was still a bit of a mess. So I started dedicating hours to diligently tagging every one of my 14,000 tracks I had at the time. I did not want to get caught out whilst live to my 4 dedicated viewers. If a track had an 808 kick, you better believe that shit was getting tagged. Album art? Absolutely. Tech house? Unfortunately, yes. I also created playlists for every single minute of my live streams, and I did not deviate at all. For a 2-hour stream, I was doing maybe 4 to 6 hours of prep, and I was doing that 2 to 3 times a week, which clearly was ridiculous. Removing the thought from my DJing did help with my nerves, but there was a big problem. My sets were stale and rigid, and I didn't really enjoy playing them, and I never experimented with anything new. The pendulum had swung too far the other way. I'd gone from trusting my gut without question to becoming a f***ing city planner. Was there a better way? This channel is all about creating smarter music libraries, so that means naturally I make a lot of content on the planning end of the spectrum. New ways to manage your library, dynamic playlists, or just getting stuff done faster. And if that's something you're interested in, by the way, you can sign up for my free newsletter. The link's in the description. But it also means I'm guaranteed to get these kind of comments on my videos. This is DJing by Numbers, sponsored by Excel. Your classy English accent is really appealing to my loins. Sorry, that one wasn't supposed to be there. I no longer think things are this binary though. As time went on with my Twitch streams, I started planning less and less. I wanted to actually enjoy DJing again and allow more room for organic playing. I took a giant axe to my library and basically started the whole thing again. This time around, I had a much simpler tagging system and a far more robust curation process. I no longer mapped out every minute of my set, but I didn't leave it as a blank slate either. One of the best examples of this is AMC, who needs no introduction if you're into drum and bass. I heard him talk recently on a Radio 1 interview about his digging deep sets, and he says he only plans about 50% of them. That combination of planning and intuition is why he can deliver the most awesome sets at the highest level every time, coming up with well-crafted dodeca drops while still leaving room to improvise and surprise the crowd and probably even himself. This has given me the biggest bang for my buck in recent years as well. My planning and organisation has helped improve my intuition's hit rate, and my intuition has helped change how I organise my music, moving away from objective tags like genre or BPM and into more subjective stuff like vibe or mood. But is there still a place for the extreme ends of the scale? Planning can become a crutch, and it can trap you in certain ways of thinking or doing things. So I believe throwing planning out the window is important to do every so often. It really helps develop that DJ spidey sense that's so important and can help you find new combinations of tracks you wouldn't otherwise think to play. It also gives you a greater ability to adapt in your sets if things don't go according to plan. And importantly, it keeps DJing fun and exciting. But no planning at all does come with a higher failure rate, especially early on. Intuition takes time to develop. It's a shortcut your brain uses to make decisions based on previous experience. So how do you get those experiences? It's to get things wrong. Over time, and as you gain experience, you'll find your intuition will get better and better. But if you aren't there yet, don't let the no planning warriors make you feel bad. And I say this as someone who used to be one, because what they leave out is the hundreds of times they f***ed up in order to get that intuition in the first place. One bit of advice I've got here is to try going off the rails just for small parts of your set. That reduces risk and still allows you to be creative without derailing your entire set. And most importantly, it gives you the opportunity to mess up so that you can learn from it. But what about the other extreme? Are there any situations where planning your entire set minute by minute is the right way to go? A film director doesn't just start filming scenes randomly. Every shot, transition, and story beat is planned out in advance. So I think there's still a lot of joy and skill in planning set out minute by minute and crafting every moment of the listener's journey. This is especially applicable if you're working on a studio set or a high-stakes live performance. It also really helps hone your storytelling skills as a DJ. And that's a skill that can translate over time into intuition. Putting deep conscious thought into your decisions helps you understand why your intuition is leading you one way or another. And I think that's really important for understanding whether you should listen to it or not. But I believe there's a way to get the benefits of both intuition and planning without hardly any of the downsides. In this video, I show you a new method for creating and using playlists that gives you the flexibility to be creative without leaving your sets entirely to chance. That.